Hello and welcome as it is the 28th of June. The year is 2019. This is the Money Charts channel. My name is Derek. We're all bets, trades of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. Let's talk Theta. Let's talk psychics. Let's talk betting strategy. For within Theta, if you haven't heard, it became, at least within the JSNIP 4 community channel, became famous on February the 28th, 2018, or month after the arrival of this, is January 30th. The month before was the when this thing started. And I like its volatility. I like its movements. Right now, it's having a movement going from 972 up to 1015. That's about 4.5% push higher. Since then, going a little bit sideways. Holding and staying above this 18 average right now. It has already established level of support at about 996. And viewing such on this 5 minute time frame, I really need to see it hold 978 up to 986 for this breakout not to be a failed one. Right now, holding well within the 18 average of highs on the 5. 15 minute term, I got a line in here at 9 or 10, 10:30. That's where I have a sell order. That's where I want to start selling Theta if it's able to get up there. I have passed on a sell order here. I could have. There was one market I could have sold. I'm looking for a better trade. And it's only for a matter of an extra couple percent. But when doing the ratio trading like I'm doing, the best moves you can get, the better it's going to work out towards it. I think there's a good chance that it's going to go and make it towards the level. I like how it has been holding so far. And if a trade happens, then I'm going to be pausing the tape. And I got an alert on here, so it'll beep at me if it even hits. Binance should have an option to make. So I want to have it set up, but the easiest way I can to have like even 10 or 12 different alerts at one time. I don't want to necessarily get a premium package here, but if I have to, I have to. So obviously the volatility on Huobi is a lot less, but this has got all of the data. Well, a bit more because this goes back, and it's just been a little choppy more than anything to start off. But this started off during the January 15th. Although I got January 30th on my data from Crypto Compare. Either way, mid-January in here to realize that all the other cryptos were at major highs. So this came out at the top of the market, and for it to hold up like it has within it, to me, I think is very spectacular. As a lot of cryptos are nowhere near hanging in there from their lows of last summer, even. That's against Bitcoin, that is, after they've been taking their big plummet as well. The big volatility, of course, comes in. But Michelle White Dove on the JSNIP 4 channel, very famously, on that one anyway, on February 28th, 2018, stated, "Hey, Theta, yeah, that's the coin, guys. And, oh, going to the thousands in the dollar mark. This is a 12-cent coin right now. So that's like 10,000 times higher. Okay. If it does, congratulations. But even if it goes to $40, it's like, wow. At least I'd be extremely happy if this coin could become a $40 coin. Now, within the psychicness, I want to talk about one event where I didn't predict something was going to happen, but I could have predicted it. As I had 1 week in particular in May of the year 2007, where I had a lot of paranormal experiences that occurred. And one of them, amongst the 100+ experiences that I had, was images. And at first, I was seeing Sidney Crosby, a hockey player for the Pittsburgh Penguins, getting a severe knee injury. It looked like a knee on knee. That was what it wasn't, though. But an injury that looked really bad. But then after the fact, there's a whole joyous celebrations. Everything's so happy, like they won the Stanley Cup. And then fast forward 2 years later, in the year 2009, when the Pittsburgh Penguins played the Detroit Red Wings in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. 5 minutes into the second period, Sidney Crosby, it wasn't a knee injury, but he gets a really bad knee injury. He's taken out of the game. Well, for a while. He comes back. And then he comes back in the game, and Pittsburgh wins the Stanley Cup that game. I was like, wow. That was uh, just something else. So whether she's right, well, we'll see. Now, fundamentally, within Theta, fundamentally, it's like they're taking it's like the new decentralized YouTube, as they're saying, and I've heard about a lot of people saying they want to try to get off of YouTube, and quite frankly, I have been one for quite some time because one of the things I don't talk too much, but will here and there about, is the fact that we have my views. My views are just so low. I feel I put up a tremendous content. I've been right way more than I've been wrong with a lot of my analysis, and I provide nice alternate methods in viewing these markets. But the view counts are low, and I gotta think that there's just, you know what, there's just a lot of not being promoted, if you will. I remember back in how different the promotions worked back in 2009, 2010. In fact, there was one time, and it was a 2007 NFL preseason, and I just happened to I just seen an amazing play in a preseason football game. His name was William Gay of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and at the time he was a nobody. And he became a good player, but he put on a hit like no other. It was like fantastic, and well, I just took a video screenshot of the TV, replaying it. It was okay quality, and the sound was good enough, and it got like 7,000 views in like 12 hours or 6 24 hours. It was crazy. Um, and that was back in 2007. So it's been uh, an interesting ride. But if something were to be able to take over YouTube, well, if they were to be successful, then now we're talking thousands of dollars for what pretty much is essentially a stock, which would be like knowing about Amazon back in here. Oh yeah, Amazon's going to be the next big thing. Okay, yeah, we'll see. Or back in the day with Apple. And you know, this is interesting because I can remember sometime around in here, it would have been it would have been probably in here. 83 makes sense. Maybe 1982. I don't think 81 though. My mom took me to someone's house. I don't know who this person was, but I can remember the bedroom and the walk up their stairs to get there, and well, more importantly, to see their Apple computer. I was amazing to see such a piece of device. Now I never got my own computer until uh, here. It was a Commodore 64, and I can't find the Commodore 64 on here. I don't think they'd have a stock chart. But to know about Apple back then, yeah, it's going to be the next big thing. And then that's what I'm thinking, if that's correct about Theta and they take off. Something like this could very easily come into play. And if you look at this, the choppiness that it had, could you imagine all the buy low, sell high opportunities in here? Let's buy back here. All of the selling that occurred in here, all the buybacks that occur here. Sell time, buy time, sell time, and you have a little bit of buy. But what happens is when you reach resistance and you start moving into the parabolic levels that you have good supply that you've been able to accumulate, especially if I'm able to trade Theta against other coins, which I'm hoping like LITECOIN and some other ones that also do well at the same point as well. Now back to Theta, and so far not a good decision not to sell, but we'll see. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And then I still might win because this correction, again, I've been talking about Theta short term coming down here. Okay, then it goes back higher. And one way of looking at it is this. I could have, at this point, I easily could have made the trade, and I thought about doing it when it was over 1010. And let's just assume that I did. And let's just assume, okay, it's doing what, obviously, it's going to do what it does to this point. It comes back down to this level, 975, 980, yada yada, in that area. and then it lifts off. Now I wouldn't have bought back, not for a move of selling 1010 back to 980. That's a 3% pullback. That's not going to get me a buyback. So I could hit here and then lift higher and go north of 1030. And I would be better off doing what I'm doing now and waiting. But of course, sometimes you do miss out on trades and you just miss out on profits overall. I'm trying to get as many trades as I can, but for the best percentage moves. And within Theta, this is why I decided to just play this against many other different coins. As in my ratio, I'm trading against ARC, which is not near trading there. I'm trading against both Dash and Ethereum Classic. Trading against LITECOIN, and these percentages have went much lower. Qtum. And in this one here, that means it's time to be selling Qtum to buy Theta. Because of the fact, let me just make sure, yeah, that's, I also got waves against Theta and Ripple against Theta. Let me just check the Qtum actual real price. What do I got here? I got 408. Let's take a quick look at Qtum. 402 now, so that changes everything. Okay, so that makes the ratio now go down. Yeah, so that means sell Theta to buy Qtum. That's right, because when it goes down, that means you sell the second one. I don't know why I had a brain freeze. It didn't make any sense for that. But now that that's went down, I have to ask myself, do I reduce my sell order? Because that's what my sell order was for in the first place, was to buy that one. But it's went down a bit amount as well. So therefore, with Theta, it's already down to 978. Wow. So do I put a sell order back at 1,000? That's something, I don't know yet. What's Bitcoin doing? Is it having a pump on here? Because that's sometimes what's been going on. 12.1, yeah. Wow, that's... Okay, well, what does this pump mean for Bitcoin? And look at the that's not big surprise, big volume coming in. Let's just take a look at less candles, 1 minute, 5 minute. I want to take a look at the Fibonacci numbers that I put in from Binance. Okay, well, we're at a Fibonacci line right now. Let's see if we find a level of resistance there or not. Let's see even more. What does it even mean? It's a retest of this level, so this is a situation, yada yada, I don't like. I've talked about before. I'm not going to go over why. I've talked about it in here. However, in viewing it via the single-hour term time frame, it kind of looks like it's breaking out. And you should have a move to the 12859 number. That's what it looks like. I mean, I've talked, yeah, reversal of trend situation. Doing it so well, because how is it going to react to this rally? And as you can see, and if this is the case, will all the alts fall down again? We'll see. 4-hour term, I guess I can bring this back to the Coinbase now with not as many Fibonacci lines. But amongst this, enough for this to flatten out very solidly. Coming up close to the 18 average of highs, pausing it and starting to, well, now it is at the highs. Still want to see it have a nice, better, clear break to establish that it is ready to get going, but it does look as if just maybe that's the case. And you have a whole series of amazing green candles higher, one very good red one, which is the equivalency of about, well, you figure it was 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 5. All 5 of these, last 5 came back in one day. Now it's getting a good chunk of what it lost before. And when we look at this on the weekly chart, it's really, this sell-off right now is just a little blimp in the radar, but still decently overextended. Its next move is either going to be a test of probably a pierce below 9,800, or the next level at 15,000 most likely appears above that number. Let's just take a look at some of the losers that are going on here. DGB down to 100. Theta's now down to 970. Tron down to 271. Is there any other gainers that are popping out? Komodo, I took an advantage of a play with that earlier. So here you have a spot where Bitcoin is up like 9% and Litecoin's up 6% at 121. And it's at a key Fibonacci point on its weekly chart, but I knew that because it's been there for quite some time. But after the big down day yesterday, getting some of it back, 4-hour chart. I mean, Bitcoin's doing better within its 4, obviously, but in the single-hour term here, this does still look poised for a solidly, significantly good gain. I didn't plan on talking about Bitcoin on this. Another thing about Bitcoin, too, is its direction from its kilos and highs. Something I thought of years ago. I did it with silver, and I decided after, you know what, let's do it again. So let's show some analysis on the data on it. But basically, to show you beforehand how it's calculated. What we do is we take a high and a low from a certain period, like the last couple hundred days, last 100 days, last 500 days, last 50 days, so on and so forth. And then we take the current price, we take the log of the current price divided by the lowest price over that period, and we divide that by the log of the highest price divided by the lowest price. Okay, I know it's going to confuse a lot of people, but not everybody, but most people. And this is where I have some data on Bitcoin prices all the way up to now, 2,829 days. And well, in here, this is where I'm calculating the average over a 200-day period, or the lowest and highest and lowest over 200 days. This one works out to something like 500 or something around that area, 529 I even think it is. Okay, so where did I put my charts? I'm just going to pause the tape to get to my charts. And this represents its current price from its 200-day high and its 200-day low. So the bottom area was those 3,000-ish so days. And of course, recently now, 2017, well, this is the top in here. And within this one in here, the key thing is it's re-entering bullish territory. And what you get in bullish territory is what you see a lot of this. Where you'd go to the top, it can never get above 100%. And you have a pullback to the 60%, 70, 80%, and then back to the high. So far, it's done a little bit of congesting on it, back and forth. Why did it do that? Let me bring it back. And I forget exactly where I left off. But to the high, back down low. To the high and back. And it just keeps on doing that over and over again until, of course, it has its move. Interesting move in here, then it cuts it back again. Yeah, what I want to do is go like this. That's what I wanted to do. And then I can just see maybe the last not as many periods. So this is how it is just over the last 600 days, over the last close year and change as it left the bull market stages, making, of course, new lows. Of course, it can't go below zero. And oftentimes, bear markets can take time to heal, and that's exactly what's happened. And then this goes up through places 30, back down, close to new lows. Keeps on doing that. Never did take out the 31. I wish it would have, because that would have filled my buy orders, so be it. And then again, it just did a few of these runs and gets above it and got all the way back. And this is normal, and I've done this before with other charts. But oftentimes you can have a few hits back and forth. We've only had a few of them. Now let's take a look at this. But instead of using a 200-day high and 200-day low, it worked out to be like 529 days. I wanted to do 500. I just took my mouse, I highlighted it. That's what it took. I'm like, yeah, that'll work. And it's a complete U or V shape formation, and how you look at it, as this would represent the fall from the after the Mount Gox incident. And then it comes up and it just spends a lot of time in here. Now it's just back in there again. If it's able to do that, well, that's when you make new highs. And every time you pull back, and well, the highs can get higher. Of course, last time it went from like 1,000, 1,100 to 12, 13, 2,000, 4,000, all the way up to close to 20,000. And those highs have already been erased, given that it's been over 529 days ago in which the highs have been in place. And now within 730 days is what I did here. Again, I just highlighted a whole bunch. That was good enough. Now that we will be working still with that 20,000 high. One thing of note in here, and this is going back to like 2011, is Bitcoin hasn't broken new lows in the past little bit, which meant back in the 2014 or 2015 decline, 2013 even, 2013, 2014 decline, its decline stayed above its lowest point from the past almost 2 years. And then in this case, same thing again. And it makes a move from 100. Technically speaking, how is this even over? I calculated this wrong. Let me try to fix this. Why is this even... This cannot mathematically get over 100. Where's the calculations in here? Equals max. Maybe because it's that? Alright, let's get to the bottom of this. And then we just highlight everything. So this I get from bitcoincharts.com. Does this fix it now? Now where's my chart? There it is. It does. It does. Okay. But it's pretty much around that same thing. But yeah, as we can see, it keeps on making new highs, pull back. Make new highs or retrace to where it was again, either or. But when you see it just congesting, like staying there, that means it's making new highs more times than not. But you go to 100, oftentimes you go to 0, but wow, if you bottom at like 20 or 30, in this case even at 40, wow. And then you have this fast move up to this, to the top to the full top to full bottom, basically. So now it's working, and full bottom has been like, and here's 30, there's 40, to make it probably to this 100 number, and then do a bunch of this again before it will eventually have another decent decline. Alrighty then, let's take a quick look at Theta to end this video. And it ain't holding that must hold areas. That's a failed breakout now. And I missed out on a sell opportunity, which is fine. But I can check how some of the other markets are going. I'm presuming that Bitcoin is just continuing its rally. And that's not much more to say about it. We're just having more Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is up 1.6. 12,300. Yeah, I mean, it's just taken off within the one. So let's go like this again, see how we're handling within. Yeah, it's broken past that Fibonacci line as not a surprise there. It's probably going to make a move to 12.8. So we're looking probably at another $500 gain, even a bit higher than that. So 22, 240, 6%, maybe 5%. We'll see how it does. But we're leaving the 18 average here on the one. I do like the chances that this thing over the next few hours, even by the end of the night, might have a spectacular gain. Gains coming forward. All right, take care. Bye bye.